I feel I can do everything on court, to be honest.
You know, I lost 3 out of 4 slams in semis against these guys. They're just too good, you know, playing on a really high level.
People come up to me like, can Jannik and Carlos get to 20? And I'm like, ball for ball, they're like the big three, the way they play. But to do it for 20 years?
Carlos Alcaraz just turned the entire tennis world upside down. His breathtaking triumph at the US Open didn't just win him another Grand Slam, it sent shockwaves through the sport and forced even the greatest legends to admit a harsh new reality. Novak Djokovic, the man who's dominated tennis for 2 decades, confessed that beating Alcaraz in a best-of-5 match is now almost impossible. Jannik McEnroe says we're witnessing the birth of a new dynasty. And fans everywhere are asking the question that could define the next 20 years of tennis. Are Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner about to become the next Federer and Nadal? Because with the way they're playing, the raw power, the fearless creativity, the relentless hunger, this isn't just the rise of 2 young stars. This feels like the beginning of a new era that could change the sport forever.
Can do everything on court, to be honest. Slices, drop shots, top spin, flat. I just trust really in my physical conditions. I feel like I can reach every ball, which give me the confidence and the security of making good points and be able to play with variety. I just got that feeling of doing everything, just going to the net, playing from the best lines, drops, coming to the net, slices.
The moment Alcaraz lifted that US Open trophy, everything changed. It wasn't just another title, it was a statement that the future had officially arrived. For months, critics questioned whether the next generation could ever live up to the legacy of Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. But this performance silenced all doubt. Alcaraz dominated not with brute force alone, but with a complete, fearless brand of tennis that left even seasoned veterans struggling to keep up. From blistering baseline exchanges to feather-light touch shots at the net, he dismantled opponents with a mix of power, precision, and creativity rarely seen at such a young age. The tennis world was stunned, not just by the result, but by how inevitable it felt. This wasn't an underdog story. This was a 1-year-old taking control of the sport like he's been here for a decade. And as the celebrations echoed through Arthur Ashe Stadium, one question started spreading from the locker room to every corner of the tennis world. Is this the moment a new golden era begins?
You know, I lost 3 out of 4 slams in semis against these guys. They're just too good, you know, playing on a really high level. Yeah, best of 5 makes it very, very difficult for me to play them, particularly if it's like the end stages of the Grand Slam. You know, I can do only as much as I can do, and yeah, it will be very difficult for me in the future to overcome the hurdle of Sinner, Alcaraz in the best of 5 on the Grand Slams. It's going to be a very difficult task. These two players are the best in the world right now, and there is no doubt that they are better and better each year, and that's also expected, to be honest. You know, of course, it's frustrating on the court when you're not able to keep up with that level physically, but at the same time, it's something also expected, I guess. If I'm to lose to someone, then I'll lose to these 2 guys because, you know, and I know.
No one felt the weight of Alcaraz's dominance more than Jannik Sinner. After the final, he spoke with brutal honesty about where he stands and how far he still has to go. I feel I can do everything on court, he said, and he meant it. Slices, drop shots, heavy topspin, flat rockets, his toolbox is as complete as anyone's. His physical conditioning lets him chase down every ball, turn defense into offense, and control rallies with relentless intensity. And yet, it still hasn't been enough. 3 of his last 4 Grand Slam runs have ended in the semifinals each time against Alcaraz or Djokovic. Sinner admitted the truth. They're just too good right now. Best of 5 matches, the true test of greatness, make the challenge even more brutal because no matter how hard he pushes, they always find another gear in the late stages. He said losing to them is frustrating, but if there's anyone he's willing to fall to, it's them because they set the standard he's chasing. Fans keep asking if he and Alcaraz can reach 20 slams like the big 3. Sinner calls that comparison absurd for now, not because they lack the skill, but because sustaining that level for 2 decades is an entirely different mountain to climb. Even Novak Djokovic, the Iron Man of modern tennis, couldn't hide his respect and maybe even a hint of concern after watching Alcaraz's rise. In one of the most brutally honest press conferences of his career, Novak admitted that beating Alcaraz or Sinner in a best-of-5 match is now almost impossible. Coming from a man who built his entire legacy on refusing to concede an inch, those words sent shockwaves through the sport. Djokovic explained that while he might sneak out a win here and there, the brutal reality is that week after week, slam after slam, these two are proving to be stronger, faster, and hungrier. He even admitted something most legends never dare to say out loud: time is undefeated. Yet, even as he says that, Djokovic continues to show flashes of brilliance, reaching 3 slam semifinals in just 3 months this season, an achievement many players could only dream of in their prime. It's proof of his enduring greatness, but also a sign that a new era is building strength with every passing match. Djokovic knows he's still part of the story, but the narrative is shifting, and Alcaraz and Sinner are quickly becoming its main characters. As Alcaraz celebrated his US Open triumph, the reactions from tennis legends and analysts poured in, and they were nothing short of awe. Some called him the most naturally gifted 1-year-old the sport has ever seen, even more complete at that age than Federer, Nadal, or Djokovic. His speed across the court is unmatched, his creativity forces opponents into chaos, and his ability to mix explosive power with delicate touch leaves even the best scrambling for answers. John McEnroe said, "Watching Alcaraz feels like witnessing the sport evolve in real time, a blend of Federer's elegance, Nadal's ferocity, and Djokovic's mental steel, all wrapped into one fearless competitor." But what truly impressed experts was his newfound maturity. His coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero, revealed that the biggest difference now is Alcaraz's ability to stay consistent, avoid dips in form, and rise when the stakes are highest. Winning his second major of the season wasn't just about talent, it was about proving he's built for sustained greatness. And with every passing match, he's not just meeting the sky-high expectations placed on him, he's rewriting them entirely. What makes this moment even more electrifying is that Alcaraz isn't doing this alone, he's part of a two-man revolution alongside Jannik Sinner. Together, they've captured every Grand Slam title over the last 2 years, a level of shared dominance we haven't seen since Federer and Nadal first ruled the sport in the mid-2000s, and they're only 22 and 23. The fears of a weak next generation that haunted tennis after the Big Three are gone erased by two players who have stepped into the spotlight with confidence, professionalism, and a hunger to build their own legacy. But it's not just about titles. Alcaraz and Sinner bring a rare combination of maturity, charisma, and respect that has made them instant ambassadors for the sport. They shake hands with genuine sportsmanship, they praise each other's games, and they push each other to new heights every time they share the court. Fans sense it too. This isn't just a rivalry, it's the start of something epic. And just like Federer versus Nadal once defined a generation, Alcaraz versus Sinner is shaping up to define the next one. What truly separates Carlos Alcaraz from everyone else isn't just his results, it's the way he's reinventing how tennis is played. He doesn't wait for the perfect ball to attack, he creates it out of nothing. Neutral rally? He'll turn it into a lightning-fast transition to the net before his opponent even realizes what's happening. Once considered a weakness, his volleys are now lethal weapons, finishing points with authority and precision. Analysts are already comparing this transformation to Becker, revolutionizing the serve, or Nadal changing the game with his heavy topspin. And just like those legends, Alcaraz's evolution is forcing everyone else to adapt. Against Sinner, every time he saw half a chance, he injected pace, stormed forward, and flipped the rally on his terms. The scariest part? He doesn't need to gamble. He can grind through baseline battles with Sinner, absorb the pace, and still choose the perfect moment to strike. Ferrero has given him the green light to attempt shots most players wouldn't even dream of, and Alcaraz executes them as if the limits of the game simply don't apply to him. This isn't just dominance, it's innovation in motion, a blueprint that could redefine tennis for years to come. For Jannik Sinner, this new reality is both humbling and motivating. He admitted that being ranked number 1 just 24 hours before the final meant nothing once he stepped on court with Alcaraz. His best tennis, the same level that's crushed nearly every other opponent, still wasn't enough to bring Carlos down. His record on hard courts had been nearly flawless, but against Alcaraz, the old game plan simply doesn't work anymore. Sinner knows he has to evolve, adapt, and find a new blueprint if he wants to consistently challenge the Spaniard. Yet, rather than discouraging him, the rivalry is pushing him to new heights. Every match against Alcaraz exposes areas to improve and adds new layers to his game. It's a test unlike anything he's faced before and one he's determined to pass. And while the gap between them might feel wide right now, Sinner understands that great rivalries are built not on dominance, but on resistance. The more Alcaraz raises the bar, the harder he'll fight to meet it. And that struggle is exactly what makes this new chapter in tennis so thrilling. As the dust settles on the US Open, one truth is crystal clear. Men's tennis has entered a brand new era, and it belongs to Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. They haven't just stepped out of the shadows of Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. They've seized the torch and started writing their own story, slam by slam, battle by battle. What we're witnessing isn't a passing moment or a flash of young talent, it's the birth of a rivalry that could define the sport for the next decade. Sinner may still be searching for the formula to consistently topple Alcaraz, but their clashes are already pushing both men beyond their limits. And fans know it, every time they face off, it's more than just a match, it's a glimpse into the future of tennis. A future built on innovation, hunger, and heart. Whether it's dominance, heartbreak, or history, one thing is certain, the next great chapter of this sport has already begun, and its story is being written by two young men who refuse to accept anything less than greatness.